Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
The fascination towards New Age spiritualism, the occult, and Satanism has led to an increase in demonic possessions throughout the world. Many do not realize these practices provide an opening for demons to enter a person's body. Today, we will examine an extraordinary diabolical attack called demonic possession. I'm Veronica Baloy Jimenez, and welcome to Who's Calling? The Bible tells us of the existence of the devil with stories of no less than Jesus driving out demons that have possessed certain people. Nowadays, the number of cases of demonic possession is on the rise worldwide. In many cases, family and friends of the possession victim initially refuse to acknowledge the diabolical attack. They simply attribute it to some psychological problem. But the experiences of Pia, not her real name, can attest that indeed, Satan is working hard to possess and claim souls.
Nagsimula ito nung mga 8 years old pa lang ako. Bali, nag-umpisa na siya yung masyado akong sensitive na nakakakita ako. Pero nung una, hindi ko siya pinapansin kasi nga parang hindi naman sila totoo eh. Tapos nakikipaglaro sila sa akin. Pero alam ko talaga na kakaiba sila. Kasi yung nanay ko, same kami ng nanay ko na nakikita. Parang nasanay na rin ako hanggang lumaki ako. Sabi nila, parang kaibiganin ko nga daw.
The demons that hounded Pia took different forms in order to deceive her. They followed her everywhere and even tormented her in her dreams.
Mga lang sila, parang black shadow, tapos may mga parang white lady, bata, matanda, ganun. Minsan nakikita ko sila sa panaginip. Tapos nagpaparamdam sila, minsan basta kahit nasaan ako, sa school o sa bahay o kaya sa mga bahay ng mga kaibigan ko. Kasi minsan parang nababangungot ako, ganun. Hindi ako makagalaw. Tapos sa panaginip ko, parang hinahabol nila ako, parang ganun. Tapos may time pa nga na yung mga nakikita rin ng nanay ko, parang nagpapakita rin sila sa akin.
The continuous harassment of the demons against Pia pushed her mother to consult a quack doctor for answers.
Kasi wala, parang hirap na kami, hirap na akong matulog. Sabi nung nanay ko, lumapit na kami sa isang manggagamot. Sabi naman ng manggagamot, parang kaibiganin ko lang sila kasi nga parang makakatulong daw sila sa akin. Kasi una hindi ko sila kinakausap since nung maliit pa ako kasi nga takot ako eh. Pero nung nasanay na ako, parang hindi ko rin sila kinakausap pero sila yung parang lumalapit sila sa akin eh. Parang may time na yung parang kinukurot nila ako, parang ganun. Yung parang hindi na maganda yung ginagawa nila sa akin. Tapos may time na parang yung parang ginugulo nila ako kahit na saan akong lugar na may time na lalabas ako ng bahay. Nakikita ko sila, makikipag-unahan sila sa akin lumakad, parang ganun. Minsan may time na tatakutin nila ako.
Instead of driving the demons away, the quack doctor told Pia that seeing the spirits was a gift and that she was chosen to carry on her family's gift of healing.
Kasi sabi niya, parang ako daw yung sa family, yung parang manggagamot, parang ganun. Pero noong una hindi ko, sabi ko ayoko kasi hindi naman, parang ang hirap ata ng ganun, saka ayoko maging ganun. Kaya hindi ko siya tinatanggap, pero sabi niya gano'n, kailangan mong kasi ikaw yung mag-ano sa family niyo, yung parang magpapatuloy daw. Pero sa sa family naman namin, wala naman nang gagamot. Parang yun lang, masyadong sensitive yung mga third eye, parang gano'n.
Pia refused to accept that her ability to see preternatural beings was a gift.
Hindi ko talaga tinanggap yun, hindi ko talaga siya pinansin. Kasi hindi rin naman ako naniniwala sa mga ganun eh. Kumbaga hindi rin ako naniniwala sa mga manggagamot, albularyo. Yung nanay ko lang, yung mga parents ko ang nagpursige na ipagamot ako kasi nga parang wala na kaming malapitan nung time na yun. Nagpatingin naman ako sa isang psychiatrist. Ang sabi sa akin, pumunta ka sa medicine kasi parang wala naman daw akong problema sa pag-iisip. Parang negative naman daw.
No one could explain what was really happening to Pia until one day, the demons finally invaded her body.
Mahilig kasi ako magpahula yun. Tapos, hindi ko naman gusto yung albularyo kasi hindi nga ako naniniwala. Parang napilit lang ako. Yung time na yun, inanon niya lang ako, parang hinawakan niya lang ako sa ulo. Then pag uwi namin, mabigat na yung pakaramdam ko. Eksaktong 12 na ng mga 12 a.m. Parang namamanhid na yung katawan ko. Tapos pagtapos nun, hindi ko na alam kung ano yung nangyayari. Basta pagkagising ko, yung parang pagod na pagod ako. Ganun. Oo, kinuwento nila. Sabi nila sobrang lakas ko daw. Tapos umiikot daw ako pag nagdadasal daw sila. Tapos hindi daw nila alam kung ano yung sinasabi ko. Pero hindi ko rin alam ng sinasabi ko. Basta ang natatandaan ko lang mga sinabi ko, papatayin ko kayo.
Pia's inexplicable actions terrified her family. They brought Pia back to the quack doctor, hoping he could stop the demons from fully possessing her.
Pagbalik ko sa albularyo, kung anong pinainom ako ng mga gamot, mga ganon. Tapos nun, lalong lumala. Parang everyday ata, napoposes ako nun.
Up next, possession implies intervals of temporary suspension of mental, intellectual, affective, and volitive faculties.
3, 4 ata silang umahawak sa akin. Pero umaangat daw ako sa bangko eh.
Father Jose Francisco Siquia is head of the Ministry of Exorcism in the Archdiocese of Manila. The ministry was established in 2006 in order to address the increasing number of cases that need liberation from extraordinary demonic bondages. Father Siquia says his office handles at least 3 possession cases on any given day.
How do you define demonic possession and how do you differentiate it from the other extraordinary attacks?
Well, first and foremost, we have to understand that 3 types of extraordinary demonic attacks against a person. The first, of course, is the obsession, which is the lowest type of extraordinary demonic attack. Then we go to oppression. And then the most, we may say, the strongest form of diabolical bondage upon the person would be we call possession. And in possession, it's wherein the devil has full control of the body of the person because maybe the person has really given himself to sin. And because of that, or given he's made a pact with Satan or whatever, and therefore the devil is a full right over the body so that he could do anything with the body of the person. So, not the soul, because as I mentioned before, the soul is something that is spiritual, the devil has no power over it, and only God. That's why the devil cannot possess the soul of the person. He cannot force a person to do what he wants. Okay? The person is actually in a trance state, in a hypnotic trance state, when he's possessed. And secondly, the devil cannot know what is in the mind of the person. And therefore, the person basically, if he thinks a thought, the devil doesn't know that. But the devil has full control of the body so much so that he can really manipulate it and desecrate it in a sense in order to show his hatred towards the human person who is, created in the image and likeness of God.
Possession implies intervals of temporary suspension of mental, intellectual, affective, and volitive faculties. Symptoms can include the knowledge of languages unknown to the victim, superhuman strength, and the ability to know someone else's thoughts.
Does the person know that he's possessed?
Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no, because the person usually just blacks out. It's only when later on the people around him, the witnesses tell him what happened, then he suddenly discovers that he is possessed. There's some people who are walking possessed. That means they seem very normal. And you can talk to them normally. And they have so many problems in life. And you do a diagnostic exorcism upon them. And it can be that suddenly they react. Something in them takes over the body. They lose consciousness. And then they wake up saying, what happened? Okay, so, and these people don't know that they're actually possessed, that a spirit has attached to them in such a way that it is actually controlling them in some form, which they're not aware of. The attachment has been so strong that when an exorcist does a diagnostic exorcism, forces the spirit to manifest, it takes over the body of the person. So this person we call is a walking possessed.
Since most people and even sometimes priests do not know how to recognize or deal with demonic possession, they choose to ignore it, deny it, or play with it, thinking it to be fascinating.
So how do you know, or how can relatives tell if this person is possessed, for example, or it's just a psychological problem?
Well, basically, the Roman ritual gives certain indicators. Like, for example, there is preternatural strength. Like, we had a 7-year-old kid, then there were 6 of us priests, and he could throw us around, okay? Push us around. There's also a lot of, what we say, indicators when the person, you may see it, when the person reacts to any sacred object or person. Okay? We have cases wherein he knows when I would be entering the room. I would be going down to the basement, to my office, and he would be in the office and he would already start screaming. He would know right away that I would be coming. And any sacred object, so I would put some exorcised salt, maybe in the person's drinking water, and the person will spit it out, can drink it. And also there is not only aversion to the sacred, it could also be that the person has certain knowledge that the person should not know in his normal state. Like, for example, he could understand Latin.
The following is an actual video of a person undergoing the exorcism rite.
Do you refuse, therefore, the glory of the Almighty? Do you refuse, therefore, the glory of the Almighty? Glorify Him, therefore. Glorify Him, therefore. Glorify Him, therefore. Do you refuse, therefore, the glory of the Almighty? Exorcise Him, as I have already said. Like the awesome name of the man who was written on the stone, which unable to bear it broke.
So we use Latin in order to test. I talk to the demoniac in Latin, and the person, even a child, would understand me. And sometimes they would even correct our Latin, okay? Because demons are very intelligent creatures, and they of course know Latin. Right? And not only that, they can know what is happening outside. Okay, so they would know that, for example, I had cases when I was young. My father would always be sent to the hospital whenever I would do an exorcism, and the demon would say, I will visit your father in the hospital. So this person doesn't know that my father is sick and he's in the hospital. So you will see that these are certain indicators wherein it shows that it is beyond the psychological. There is something more than what we call this, what you can see and touch. Of course, not only that, what we do is we do also interviews to be able to see how it started, and then we look for the different openings that usually are the normal openings for this kind of diabolical attack. Because no one can get possessed unless he did something. He invited the spirit in one way or the other. Unlike when a person is sick and I pray for healing, I don't really have to ask the history, really. Because sickness is a human condition. I can get sick whether I'm good or I'm not so good a person. But if a person is possessed, that means the person did something morally wrong. And therefore, I have to check what did this person do to be able to experience that possession.
Father Sikia says there are people who are more open to demonic possession than others.
What are the openings that make a person susceptible to demonic possession?
Well, we have cases of persons who are so long in sin, they continue sinning and their sins are graver and graver. So as a person continues sinning, the demons, in a sense, become more and more in number and more powerful demons. Time comes wherein they are so strong and powerful that suddenly they can take over the person. That's why I can pray over the person who seems normal, living an immoral life, but wants to return to the Lord, and suddenly the spirit will manifest through the mouth of the person. Or the person is very sensitive, very psychic. We call it, actually in occult terms, we call it the person has a third eye. So if the person has a third eye and he tries to develop this, Okay, he becomes open to the preternatural world around him. He starts to hear demons and see demons. But in the beginning, if he's not aware, many times these demons will speak to him like they are angels, using angelic voices, or say that they are good spirits, or maybe souls of the dead, the relatives. Or they may have visions. They will start to see visions, but these visions are actually, it seems like good visions because it's the apparition of a blessed, for example, like the Blessed Virgin Mary. But actually, it's a diabolical spirit who is mimicking Our Lady. Okay? So it's easy for a demon to, what we say, appear to give locutions or to give the person visions that are seemingly angelic or divine because the person is open to seeing and hearing them. Okay? Another thing is a person usually into drugs because it opens the third eye. When a person takes drugs, it puts him in an altered state of consciousness, and this opens more and more the third eye of the person, so that, or the psychic abilities, the psychic vulnerability, according to the Vatican document of the New Age. It makes you psychically vulnerable to the spirit world, the diabolical world. And of course, we know that those who enter is when people enter the occult, deep into the occult, whether they are targeted by an occult practitioner like a witch, or we may say a black magician, a sorcerer, and the person is not protected, then the person can get possessed. Or the person practices some form of witchcraft or occult practice, or goes to occult practitioners like faith healers, tarot card readers, fortune tellers, witch doctors, etc. Or they themselves have someone in their ancestry, one of their ancestors was deep into the occult. And when this ancestor dies, the spirit goes down to his generation.
Many cases of demonic possession are caused by generational occult practices of families that have been passed on by their ancestors. Pia's case is one such example. Pia and her family's attraction to fortune-telling, quack doctors, amulets, and charms has made her vulnerable to diabolical attacks. When they could no longer bear the horrors of Pia's possession, they sought the help of Father Sikia.
Hindi na ako magamot. Umanap na kami ng mga priest. Ginawa ng kapatid ko, humanap sila ng priest na pwedeng kausapin tungkol sa problem ko. Tapos, nakahanap sila ng isang seminarista na sabing ganun, lumapit kayo kay Father Joseph Sikia, baka matulungan niya kayo. Yun, doon nag-start yun. Hinanap namin si Father Joseph. Ayun, bali, ang nakausap ko nga po si Ma'am Rowena, tapos pinagawa nila ako ng mga assignment. Yung unang assignment na pinagawa nila sa akin, yung siyempre yung kumpisal, tapos mass. Tapos yung mga renouncement na kailangan ko itakwil yung mga ginawa ko noon. Kasi katulad ng pagpunta ko sa albularyo, saka yung paniniwala ko sa mga, pagpunta ko rin sa pangmanghula, sa mga agimat.
After fulfilling all the prerequisites of Father Sikia, Pia underwent the exorcism rite. Along the way, she learned more about the spiritual battle she was in. It was a long and arduous journey, and the more Pia got closer to God, the more the enemy tried to pull her away from Him.
Ay yung siguro yung first na pray over sa akin nila si Father Jojo. Meron ako natatandaan pero yung iba hindi. Pero ang kwento sa akin ng mga kasama, yung mga kapatid ko, kasi kasama sila, bali 3, 4 ata silang umahawak sa akin. Pero umaangat daw ako sa bangko eh. Yun lang ang kwento nila sa akin. Tapos super lakas ko daw. Tapos yun, may mga kalmot ako pagtapos ng pray over. Kasi nung pagtapos din ng pray over, mas lalong nahirapan ako kasi hindi naman kagad sila umalis. Kumbaga, parang yung huling ng pray over sa akin kasi yung i-renounce ko na yung third eye ko. Kasi nahirapan ako doon kasi hindi ko alam kung ano ba yung sa akin ng third eye ko, kung ba't ako nagkaroon ng third eye, ano bang maitutulong sa akin ng third eye ko. Bali hindi ko alam kung bakit kailangan ko siyang i-renounce. Pinapray over na ako ni Father Winston, kailangan ko na i-renounce. May narinig akong boses sa likod ko na parang pagpikit ko, nasa ibang lugar na ako. Tapos sabi niya sa akin, pag tinakwil mo yun, may mawawala sa'yo. Tapos inisip ko, ano yung mawawala sa akin? Tapos hindi ko siya malingon kasi hindi ko alam kung sino siya eh. Natatakot akong lingunin. Tapos biglang pag tingin ko sa taas, nakita ko yung puti. Parang sabi ko, si Jesus Christ yun. Tapos sabi niya sa akin yung boses, pag sumama ka sa kanya, may mawawala sa'yo. Tapos pag mulat ng mata ko, sabi sa akin ni Father, i-renounce mo na yung third eye, i-renounce na yung third eye ko. Hindi ko siya ma-renounce kasi hindi ko siya mabitaw-bitawan kasi parang hindi ko alam kung ano yung third eye, kung ano yung matutulong pa sa akin nun. Kasi parang parang sinasabi sa akin ng boses, marami kang matutulungan na ibang kaluluwa. Yun ang sabi sa akin. Pag tinakwil mo yan, mawawala sa'yo, maraming mawawala sa'yo.
Pia finally got the courage to let go of her third eye. She realized that it was never a gift to begin with, but a doorway for the devil to possess her.
Inisip ko, itong third eye na to, hindi siya nakakatulong. Naman ako to sa mga ng family ko, sa nanay ko kasi lahat sila meron. Parang power parang nagbibigay sa akin ng power, pero hindi siya galing sa Diyos. Galing siya sa devil.
Pia is now free from the demons that had tortured her for years through the help of the Archdiocese of Manila Office of Exorcism.
Hindi na ako na-possess nun kasi parang nakalaya na rin ako kasi parang yun yung pintuan para makapasok sila sa akin. Saka parang yun doon nag-start yung parang magandang relasyon ko sa Diyos.
Up next, in the Philippines alone, there are over 5,000 cases of demonic possession.
A person does not get possessed unless he is cut off from the Lord and has invited the evil spirit to become the authority in his life.
Casting out demons that have invaded a person's body is no work of an ordinary person. In order to restore a demon-possessed person, he must be seen by an exorcist or a team of exorcists.
What remedies can we have for possessed people? What can they do?
Well, usually it depends upon when they come to us. Of course, the most important thing is to establish again that relationship with the Lord. As I mentioned, a person does not get possessed unless he is cut off from the Lord and has invited the evil spirit to become the authority in his life. Okay? So what we have to do is first and foremost to establish that relationship through the sacraments. Okay? And then we look at the particular things that this person has done because each person is unique and a person, as I mentioned, can get possessed in different ways. And we have to check what did this person do so that the spirit gained authority over him and therefore now can control him. So we look at what this person did so that we reverse the process. Okay? So for example, this person made a pact with Satan. I had two seminarians who made a pact with Satan, for example. And one of these seminarians was always sick. And he didn't want to get sick anymore. He made a pact with Satan, and the next day he was healed. And he wanted to have the ability to draw. So he made another pact with Satan. The next night, he was able to draw. His entire room was filled with pictures of anime drawing. And he could draw with both right and left hands at the same time. So his classmates were amazed where did he get that talent. But the problem was he got possessed afterwards, and that made him afraid. Right? And I had to exorcise him. But he had to, before that, do a renouncement to the pact that he made. Go to confession, use the sacramentals like the holy water, St. Benedict's Medal, the our Marian devotion, renew his Marian devotion, a real Marian devotion, have devotion to the angels, especially his guardian angel. But most specifically, we targeted the opening that he created that allowed the Spirit to come in. And that was basically his pact with Satan, which he had to renounce and renew. He had to renew his baptismal promises. Right? So when he was ready, then we prayed over him. Okay? And it was quick. Right?
In the Philippines alone, there are over 5,000 cases of demonic possession. It is believed that the increasing number of demonic possession cases happening all over the world may be a signal that the second coming of Jesus Christ is near.
Is it a sign that we are already in the final battle when you see more people getting possessed?
We know that many saints have talked about this, the 20th, 21st century, like Saint Louis Bonfourth would say regarding these final days wherein we need especially Mama Mary because she would really be the weapon of God. And many saints have talked about, these latter days. Even Sister Lucia, Mama Mary told her, one of the seers of Fatima said that the final battle will be about marriage and the family, which we see happening now. And we all know in scriptures that before the coming of the Antichrist, there will be an upsurge in a lot of diabolical activity. Okay? So if you notice, the diabolical activity that is happening now is much, much more. It seems to be much more than even in the early church. Unlike before, that devil has so much power. And one of the saints said, it's not because the devil really has power, it's because man has given him that power. By leaving God and turning towards these other gods, these other powers that are not of God, the occult powers. We know the rise of the New Age, we know the rise of Wicca, Satanism, and all these other new religions, cults, and sects that are now arising, which even witchcraft, which is still banned by the church, is now becoming a recognized religion. And even Satanism, which before, no one would think of Satanism as a religion, now it's accepted. That there are even chaplains who are Satanists. So I remember when in Rome we were talking, one priest told us, you better watch out, your exorcism, because it will only get worse. And usually the end of this is usually the coming of the Antichrist, they said. The signs of the times are there, so you have to prepare yourselves.
Satan may try numerous ways to tempt and possess us, but if we love the one true God, no demon can separate us from our eternal and everlasting Father. We only need to be faithful to Him and to stay away from sin so that we can be assured of a place in heaven. Thank you so much for watching. For your comments and suggestions, you may visit our Facebook page. Join us again next week for another exciting episode on Who's Calling? This has been Veronica Baloy-Jimenez saying, everything is possible with God when we call on Him. May God bless us all.